So this, you know that ACR was the main annual confidential report. So its characteristics, if you see that, so that kind of grading was done. Weaknesses, we'll talk what are the weaknesses. So ACR has been replaced by performance appraisal report. It was introduced in 2005 and 6, which we'll talk further details. When present government came to powers, it has further brought reform, like it has brought an online system. So smart performance appraisal report recording online window. Probity has no acronym, it is probity means probity. So this acronym is like, it is basically online. So it is an online system. So what used to happen here, performance appraisal in terms of offline, now it is online. Plus government has also added this, means it is also using 360 degree as supplement. Supplement to performance appraisal report. So we'll talk also its features. What are the features of performance appraisal report? So if you take ACR, which may be still followed by the states, let's say that at a state level, and its characteristics, so its characteristics in terms of, written by some designated superior officers as per some standards they will have. It can be graphic rating scale, it can be some others, and the officers will be graded on the basis of the performance. Nobody will come poor, either they will be fair, good, very good, or excellent. This, so that was system. And weaknesses, if you talk, so confidential by itself, it is showing that it was kept confidential. The report remained confidential first. Second, that other weaknesses will also apply. The weaknesses which we told yesterday of traditional performance appraisal report. So those weaknesses can also be written. In addition to that, some Indian specific weaknesses like a performance appraisal report was treated, or it is still treated as something called subservience. Subservience means the subordinate officers should be at their knees, at their toes to serve the superior officers. That kind of culture you will find. So ours is a culture where you know that is servile culture. It is a servile culture. Servile culture means a subordinate is, that's why we have the name also called subordinate. And junior officers should always be at their toes to serve senior officers. That's why even junior officers cannot even sit properly, comfortably before senior officers. Anyhow, so bureaucratic culture, this you can find. So subservience attitude, or as we were saying yesterday, appraisal dependent largely that if you are in a good book of the superior. If you are in his good books, you are a good person. So good performance appraisal, this aspect. Then it became also basis to discipline the subordinate officers, teach them lesson, punish them, and it was not also written on time. It has been recommended by ERC second in its one such finding that the subordinates had to chase the senior officers who write the ACR, that साहब मेरा promotion आ गया है, ACR लिख दो. Right. So it is like it was not written on time, that you can find, and that is how, let's say, that it is criticized. Interestingly, you should know that there was a time when government introduced also a system, a bit transparency in ACR system, and transparency is that when senior officer is going to write any report about subordinate officer, and if he is giving any such ranking to that subordinate officer, and therefore the senior officer will have to communicate to the junior officer about that gradation or whatever the performance appraisal he has done. So that change was introduced, that resulted into over 90%, let's say, that key performance appraisal and reports ended up giving excellent or good. This why? Because senior officers do not want to defend before the junior officers ki, or let's say that they have to give explanation ki why they have given a bad report or a bad ranking. So that kind of thing. There was also a debate on Rajya Sabha channel once when this matter became into in past. So some ex-bureaucrats also expressed the view that the performance appraisal has never been, let's say, objectively done in our country. Rather, there is subjectivity, and it depends. Let's say whatever the ranking they give, the validity can be questioned. So there have been, let's say, that criticisms like ACR have been criticized, and if you see some reports related, so some individuals will say that ACR is always subjective. But that can be, let's say, that the weaknesses, as we also told yesterday, that any performance appraisal you adopt, it would have some problems and limitations. Means you cannot say that it does not have problem and limitations. It was largely criticized for confidential. Means the report is kept confidential or was kept confidential, hardly it was communicated. Although later stage, before introduction to this, government had introduced transparency in terms of reports being communicated by the senior officers to junior officers that they wrote the appraisal. Then this was changed on the basis of Surendranath committee recommendation, and a new system was adopted which will talk its features, what are the features of performance appraisal report. It was introduced on pilot basis in 2005 and 6 for IAS, and then it has been implemented for all central government employees since 2007. So as of now, we have performance appraisal report for all central government employees. And again, when government came to powers, it has made it online, plus it has brought 360-degree appraisal. But then it has faced lots of criticism, including criticism by Parliamentary Standing Committee. Means a Parliamentary Standing Committee has also criticized 360-degree appraisal. So by that way, you can also consider first the importance of 360-degree appraisal, at the same time that it has some India-specific problems in addition to the problems that we told yesterday. And that is how we have to talk. Then we'll deal with what ARC second has recommended about performance management system. And what are the recommendations to improve 360-degree appraisal? So there are some recommendations also to improve it. And there is also criticism, let's say that criticism by some IAS associations, which we told about yesterday, UPIS Association. Then Punjab IAS Association has also criticized 360-degree appraisal. So there are some articles when I was reading, so I found that Punjab has also criticized, in Himachal Pradesh also it was criticized. So the 360-degree appraisal has also faced criticism. It means that once again UPSC will ask this question. Anyhow, when the first time they asked, they did not ask what is 360-degree appraisal. Rather, they ask how the problems of 360-degree appraisal can be improved. Means it was presumed that it has a problem. So let's write on that evolution aspect. The performance appraisal in India has undergone evolution as mentioned above. Performance appraisal in India has undergone, let's say that, evolution as mentioned above, right? As mentioned above, right? That primarily there was a culture of annual confidential report, as traditional method of performance appraisal in India. Performance appraisal in India. Right. It has following problems and criticisms. It has following problems and criticisms. First, in addition to problems of traditional performance appraisal, in addition to problems of formal performance appraisal, traditional methods of performance appraisal, others are next. Subservience culture. That superiors treated subordinates with servile attitude. Next, servile, S-E-R-V-I, right. Servile attitude. Next, it was used as a coercive tool. It was used as a coercive tool. Like carrot and stick. To give favor or disfavor. Next, it was not written on time. Right. The reports were kept confidential. Hence, secrecy culture. Change in paragraph. Even if changes were introduced, in annual confidential report time to time, like reports were also communicated to ratees. But overall its structure and process remained traditional, mechanical and subjective. For instance, in one such case, Supreme Court asked that the report should also be communicated. To subordinates. Over 90% of the reports went on giving excellent performance, simply because senior officers did not want to face questions from junior officers. Therefore, performance appraisal was reviewed time to time by pay commissions, pay and reform commissions, and also they recommended for reforms. Like Surinder Nath Committee in 2002, ARC second in recent times. Next, phase second, performance appraisal report 2005 and 6. Phase second, performance appraisal report 2005 and 6. On the recommendation of Surinder Nath Committee, a new performance appraisal report was introduced. A new performance appraisal report was introduced known as performance appraisal report, which has following three components.
New performance appraisal report,
which has following three components or three ingredients. First, 1 to 10 scale of rating. 1 to 10 scale of rating. स्केल तो 1 to 12 होता है, 10 ही क्यों? 1 to 10 स्केल ऑफ रेटिंग. नेक्स्ट 15 to 20. Yes, 15 to 20 parameters. 15 to 20 parameters for rating. Next, normalization method of UPSC. To balance north-south divide, north-south culture. Of UPSC, yes, क्या State Public Service Commission of UPSC to balance north-south divide, means culture of liberal versus conservative. We have written 3 ingredients, right? 4. There are 4 points. 4 points. Next point. Right. Eminent panel group. Right. Its members would be derived from having experiences in field of public affairs. Its members would be derived from having experiences in the field of public affairs. And they will take input also from intelligence agencies. A civil servant within that, a civil servant would undergo 30 minutes of presentation and then 30 minutes of interview. Presentation तैयार करके लाइए, फिर इंटरव्यू दीजिए. So with this speed, next time when you will write your test, you will be able to complete before time.
This input from intelligence agency, it is related to the individual's performance or to the group which we are selecting?
Individual. Let me explain one by one. So what they have done is that first time you come to know some standards of performance appraisal. ACR, since it is a confidential thing, so it is not known. Basically, rather you know the ranking is done like say excellent, very good, good, etc. But when we have this performance appraisal system, so first thing is that there is 1 to 10, let's say scale of rating. Here you have the scale of this, but that scale 1 to 10 will have that kind of gradation: good, very good, excellent, beyond doubt, integrity, all sort of things. Then 15 to let's say 20 parameters they have, criteria they have, on that it will be rated. Normalization methods, it shows that there is a serious problem, and that's why they may have adopted north-south culture. And yes, north-south culture is, let's say to some extent it is true. Is it like that? South India, let's say it is conservative, North India liberal. Liberal and conservative in terms of discipline, not in terms of ideology. So in North India there can be more casual approach, isn't it? Is it related to marking pattern? Right. Yes. I mean,
India, the superiors get subordinates only to fill their own ACR.
right. And South India people are very disciplined, punctual.
Mostly, sir.
Mostly.
Yes, sir. It's a stereotype.
Right.
Not India, yes, sir.
So in North India, South India, let's say, do you find any difference in terms of, let's say, whether auto wala they charge the same, let's say, fare, or they, let's say, in both culture, their auto wala charge as per the client?
As per the client.
As per the client. In South India also.
In South, I think some form of uniformity is over the South.
Right.
That's what I have planned.
In South India also students travel without ticket.
Sir, Bazaar Country model differs in both regions. Sir, वहाँ बस कंडक्टर सीट पे आके टिकट देता है.
अच्छा, और यहाँ बस कंडक्टर को बस से ही भगा देता है. Right. Anyhow, so there is a bit, let's say, that difference, but I don't find, let's say, I don't have experience in South India. I had one experience with a friend from Northeast, from Nagaland, and there is a cultural difference. So it may be that South India, it can also be in that way. So it was our, means we had appeared in mains, then we were going home, he was also going home. So he booked one auto wala, and auto wala may have told whatever the fare, and auto wala came, and hamare desh mein to auto wala, let's say, when you fix the fare and when he comes and see the luggage, again he starts negotiating. Itna saman hai. अरे तो सर पे तो रखोगे नहीं रहे. So auto wala will say again, right? Auto wala kya? Right, I guess ki all that luggage wala will tell, isn't it? So he started again renegotiating. So I told that means let's give him, right? I nudged him basically ki maan jao. Right, that is North Indian culture. Right. So he became, right. Although we were parting away, but he became so much angry on me, right? Right. So I never, let's say, saw him becoming angry, let's say, when we were together, right? He became very angry. He told simply, you shut up. Right. And he forced the auto wala to go on the price he had told first time. Right. That is how we mean by conservative. Let's say conservative is nothing to do with, let's say, custom and tradition. Conservative here means that when ranking is being done, so rigorously you seek if a person is qualifying for a particular rank, let's say 5 or 6 or 4. So accordingly it would be given. Or in North India there is more flexibility, casual approach, and 5 का अगर 6 भी हो जाए तो कोई फर्क. That is how basically they mean. That is how, let's say, that when they have a normalization method. So this way it can be said. So let's write. Then last, let's say, fourth point is related to eminent panel group. Eminent panel group means that there will be a group in which they will appoint some those persons they have not clearly stated, but that is external, let's say, review. So review can be done by a group, and that group will have members having public affair experiences, largely working in public field, government field, and they will also take input from intelligence agencies about that particular said officer. So that can be considered, not in each and every case, but some cases may demand. Suppose you are appointing someone as finance secretary, someone you are appointing, let's say, that cabinet secretary, someone you appoint as secretary to Ministry of Personnel or sensitive ministry departments, the sector. So you'll have to have the, let's say, that also the third view or intelligence agencies, if they have any kind of information, including CVC, etc., you can say, so they can take the view of that said officer, and on the basis of that, the group, means eminent panel group, will decide. Before that panel group, the said officer will also undergo, let's say, he would give presentation about his performance or whatever the things they may ask in presentation, and then there would be another, let's say, that interview with that eminent panel group, and then finally appraisal will be done. So this appraisal is considered transparent also, means it is transparent, it is participative also, and it is considered improvement over what we can say about annual confidential report. This we can say. So let's write on this. The new performance appraisal report. The new performance appraisal report was initially implemented for IAS in 2005 and 6. Implemented for IAS in 2005 and 6, and then since 2007 it has been implemented for entire central government employees. Central government employees. It is considered as a significant improvement, a significant level of improvement over annual confidential report. Annual confidential report in terms of first transparency, next objectivity, next participation, and therefore it has introduce a uniform change in performance appraisal across departments. It has also gained appreciation. It has also gained appreciation for transparency and objectivity. Next, phase 3. Since 2014 and 15, due to a new government coming to power, new government or party coming to power with agenda of growth and governance, radical reforms have been introduced. Radical reforms have been introduced, in which the government has tried to infuse performance-oriented culture. Infuse performance-oriented culture. It has given huge emphasis on digitalization, that is transforming governance through ICT. And also promoting a performance culture through perform or perish. Paris criteria. Paris initiative. Perform or perish initiative. Hence it has introduced also a new empanelment system. It has also introduced a new empanelment system. Based on ability to perform and integrity. It is in this context that government has introduced Spiro probity. Government has introduced Spiro probity and solve, of which the Spiro deals with making performance appraisal completely online. That is, the performance appraisal report which was adopted, in 2005 and 6 has been made completely online. The performance appraisal report which was adopted in 2005 and 6 has been made completely online. And at the same time it has also introduced 360-degree appraisal. 360-degree appraisal as supplement to performance appraisal report. So let's about practice of 360-degree appraisal. 360-degree appraisal. Since 2015 and 16, 2014-15 you can write, no, 2014-15. First, it is based on It is based on the characteristics of 360 degree. Characteristics of 360 degree, in which
whether intelligence agencies will be also there in this 360.
that is not mentioned.
What is written under superior? Yes.
Second point, let's read. Those who rate the appraisee, they are known as stakeholders. They are known as stakeholders. Right. Which also include outsiders. Right. Including, let's say, retired bureaucrats, even family and friends, means even relatives and friends who did not want you to become IAS.
Who did what?
Yes.
बेटा तुमसे ना हो पाएगा.
और आप बन गए IAS. ना उसके खुंदक है, उसके फंस रहे, बदला लेना है. Let's write next word. It is being implemented by Prime Minister Office. It is being implemented by Prime Minister Office. Prime Minister Office. Next, according to reports, PMO calls to stakeholders, especially relatives, friends, to take their views. So this is what you can say. Benefits, advantages. It has all the advantages of 360-degree appraisal. It has all the advantages of 360-degree appraisal that we wrote yesterday. So you can write yourself. Anyhow, let's write. Further, next point. Since there is performance appraisal report.
So this is under benefits?
Yes, second point.
Okay.
Since there is performance appraisal report, the 360-degree appraisal supplements and helps broaden broaden performance evaluation and promote participation of stakeholders. Participation of stakeholders. Stakeholders. Therefore, it has been also remarked by Parliamentary Standing Committee or Parliamentary Standing Committee that it is very innovative method of performance appraisal. It is very innovative method of performance appraisal. Performance appraisal. Criticisms and controversies. Criticisms and controversies. Okay. It has also resulted into lots of criticisms and controversies. Lots of criticisms and controversies in which voice has also been raised by IAS associations, IAS officers and Parliamentary Standing Committee. Parliamentary Standing Committee. Like first Parliamentary Standing Committee in 2017 criticized 360-degree appraisal on following grounds. On following grounds. First, it is not rule based. That is, government did not have any guidelines or rules for 360-degree appraisal. Second, there is lack of standardization. Or benchmarking in its practice. Next, there is opaqueness. In its practice. Next separate criticism. UPIAS Association, President UPIAS Association and Punjab IAS Association. Presidents have criticized for its opaqueness and arbitrary application. Like first, UPIAS Association, President remark it is an opaque black box. Second, who are the stakeholders? What the ratings they have given? Who are the stakeholders? What the ratings they have given? Whether they are objective, biased, are not disclosed. are not disclosed. Means it is not clearly known. It is not clearly known who are exactly the stakeholders. Politicians, political padontret. Who are exactly the stakeholders?
It is not clearly.
Right. The politicians are film actors, artists, or RSS. We do not know, isn't it? Anyhow, you should know that the first time IAS associations have spoken by, it demands lots of boldness to speak against government or express a view which is against the practice of a, let's say, system of the government. This. Right.
What was the rationale given by the government to bring in, this stakeholders in 360 appraisal?
No, it's not in that way. Basically, rationale is that they want to, let's say, improve the, basically performance appraisal report is written by designated senior officers. Like say, district magistrate writes the appraisal of SP. So now let's say that there can be biasness. If they have good relations, so then SP you can get 10 out of 10. No. So this can be. So that is how, let's say, or somehow they are related. So they can have good relation also, like district magistrate and SP. So then you can have good ranking. So this can be. Then how will address this? There is external 360 degree supplement rating. So appraisal, performance appraisal report is written by all different level officers in hierarchy. But 360 degree appraisal is done by Prime Minister office. It is the PMO which is doing it, and let's say it is trying to take the view of different stakeholders. So that way, if you take from the positive side, like the same standing committee also says that it is an innovative, let's say, appraisal system. But at the same time, it also says that we should improve it. Means it criticizes it. It finds flaws with the practice. Since the government has not, since you have not adopted 360 degree appraisal by bringing any such policy, any such rule, any such, let's say that guideline, rather it has been implemented, so that's why opaqueness is there. So once you bring, let's say that rules, or you, let's say, bring any law and then you implement it, so you will define it the way you define in other cases who can be the eminent person, or the who are the stakeholder exactly that they are going to be, or they are supposed to be consulted. This, and that is how we can consider. The present government has the practice, so they want to have the like-minded, let's say, they may have right intention to find out those people who are performance oriented, but the same means at the same time they want to have a compatible person. The two things you have to understand: compatibility and merit. So they should go hand in hand. You are meritorious but not compatible. The government would not like you to hold top positions, right? Because you will create problem for the government. The compatibility does not mean pliable. This compatibility does not mean, like say someone wants that there should be aggressive policy of the government. You also support that government should have aggressive policy, let's say foreign policy. Let's say you support aggressive foreign policy and government is also aggressive foreign policy, so you will be in foreign office. Is it like that? So that is what compatibility you can see this. So we should see from that perspective, and some of the things which we cannot write but we can tell after some time. So some of the things which we can say or you should know, so that they cannot be written. Right. So let's try this next. One more point we will talk. Right. Some individual IAS officers have also criticized.
So please repeat.
Some individual IAS officers have also criticized for this, criticized this system. criticize this system. Like Vineet Chaudhary of Himachal Pradesh. Vineet Chaudhary of Himachal Pradesh. After criticism, and he challenged this in Central Administrative Tribunal.
He challenged?
He challenged it in, yes, it means 360-degree appraisal. In Central Administrative Tribunal, he was promoted and made Chief Secretary of State. He was promoted and made Chief Secretary of State.
I didn't get the connection between like
कोई जरूरी है कि कनेक्शन होना चाहिए?
Chief Secretary of the State?
Yes. Connection is that कि arbitrariness. Connection is that कि someone is highlighting a problem, to hush that problem, what you do that? But it may not be always yes, it shows something, let's say that कि arbitrariness, nothing else. That is the connectivity. You may or may not write, not needed, already enough we have written. Just I wanted to give one specific example also. कि individual IAS officers have also criticized, which demands lots of boldness when you give your name. Right. Name generally they do not give, they see anonymous. Right. So anonymous, like say another anonymous IAS officers, but she wanted not to give her name in Rajasthan, and she was niece of one, let's say, Congress leader. And she was found well in empanelment, ranking was good, but she was denied promotion. Right. Why? Because she is the niece of a political party, means leader who belongs to opposition party. Right. What? No, maybe let's say that कि openly बाहर आना, but IAS association is known for that because it has been established to express their views. So they are expressing their views. They are not criticizing the government, they are criticizing a government policy, let's say that first. Yes, it is somehow let's key violation of conduct rule. It is said, we will tell also that कि a civil servant should not criticize government policies. It amounts to violation. But there are both aspects. Would you maintain silence when there is something arbitrary, and that arbitrary is becoming serious? So that is what you can say that. So some civil servants have different view, although in general it amounts to violation of conduct rules. Right. But they find that why it is, let's say, being considered like this. So let's write this further. The reasons for so much controversy. The reasons for so much controversy behind 360-degree appraisal. 360-degree appraisal are as follows. As follows. That is due to inconsistency in empanelment system. Inconsistency in empanelment system. Empanelment system that some meritorious civil servants have been denied promotion. Meritorious civil servants have been denied promotion. Second, it has become basis for has become basis for application of perform or perish policy. Perform or perish policy. That is, officers who have completed 30 years of job or 50-55 years of age, if not found satisfactory in terms of performance, their services are getting terminated. Go to hell. Their services are getting terminated. More than 90 officers have been terminated. More than 90 officers have been terminated. Next. Since government has introduced ability to perform and integrity as criteria for promotion, non-IAS officers are also getting promoted to IAS positions. Non-IAS officers are also getting promoted to IAS positions. Joint secretary and above.
Also
Getting promoted to IAS positions, joint secretary and above, which has caused tension. In IAS lobby. Surface tension. So that is
Surface tension.
Surface tension of physics.
हिस्ट्री में तो पढ़ाएगा नहीं रहे. Anyhow, so these are, let's say, problems. The most important thing is that termination from service. That has resulted into, let's write that. That's why Parliamentary Standing Committee has also criticized. That's why Parliamentary Standing Committee has also criticized that since civil servants are getting terminated without legal basis, or even denied without legal basis, that's why it is arbitrary. That's why, or even denied promotion, right? Denied promotion, due to which it is being considered as arbitrary. Way forward, way backward. वे फॉरवर्ड, कोई ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आप वे फॉरवर्ड लिखोगे तो फॉरवर्ड ही होगा. The Parliamentary Standing Committee has recommended following changes. First, it should be backed by a law. So that it becomes rule based. Which would also promote transparency. Next, the government should standardize 360-degree process and procedures, and standards. Process, procedures and standards. Next point. Since it has been criticized, it is not by the committee, it is an independent point. Since it has been criticized for opaqueness about stakeholders, the improved appraisal system should give clarity about stakeholders. Next, it has also been argued by some IAS officers. It has also been argued by IAS officers that they do not get opportunity to seek clarity about the reports, who has rated what.
Got opportunity to seek clarity
about who has rated what. Hence, the appraisee should get opportunity to interact with those who write appraisal. So that if there is any biasness, it can be redressed. Next, the government can also introduce Google type practice of peer review. The government can also introduce Google type of practice of peer review to eliminate biasness. Next, government can even try a military type of performance appraisal. In which superior writes appraisal for subordinate. Superior writes appraisal of subordinate. And the process eliminates any biasness.
appraisal of jewelry and
The process eliminates any type of biasness. Change the paragraph. There is a scope, even if 360-degree appraisal has been introduced as supplement, but still there is a scope to improve. Including incorporation of 720-degree. 720-degree, or even going beyond and including and introducing a very comprehensive performance appraisal, improving into what we are writing? Very comprehensive performance appraisal known as Performance Management System of ARC second. Performance management system of ARC second. Right. So are you able to understand? That's yes.
In the part of military drive of performance appraisal, that is similar to ACR, like superior is, what is the difference?
No, it is not that type. In case of, but this, basically it is written by each superior, means ki in government sector only designated superiors write performance appraisal. It's not that it's not that, let's say that this, so that person is going to write this person is going to write this person is going to write this. It's like this hierarchical. Since it goes in a hierarchical way, so there will be elimination of any such biasness. This plus details not needed to know, but that is how it has been referred by the Parliamentary Standing Committee. In our, let's say that civil service, it happens, it's not necessary that this person performance appraisal will be written by this. It is not necessary. It may be that this level functional is writing performance appraisal. So it is because of that, let's say. This.
Sir, in second point, we have written that we should consider 30 years of experience.
When we said that in military type there is uniformity in writing appraisals and not in civil service.
Like what you were asking?
सर मतलब ये ऐसा कह सकते हैं कि मिलिट्री में यूनिफॉर्मिटी होती है अप्रेजल लिखने में और उसमें नहीं होती.
Since yes, since immediate person is writing, the immediate person does not have authority on you much. Some designated officers who have authority, concentration of authority, when they write, so they will have coercion. But when everyone is writing, let's say that every superior is writing appraisal, then it will not have chance of coercion, let's say that, or subservience type of thing. It's also not because of that, it's also a military culture that they have, so that's why there will be greater discipline in that. That also should be taken. So basically the committee is saying that we can look for other such also practices which are better or they have good practice. Yes.
In the second point, we have written that the reason for controversy, that it will consider 30 years of job or 50 or 55 years. So if state chief officer is promoted to an IAS, so how that this performance appraisal will be done?
No, that person performance appraisal, no, you are not understanding. It is not only for, let's say, those who have completed 30 years and 55 years. It is for all the, now performance appraisal system is for all. 360 degree is also for all. Government employees it is applied. But 360 degree also is for those civil servants who have completed 30 years of, let's say, service or 55 years of age, that they are being eliminated from service on the grounds that they lack performance and efficiency. It is not only for them. Removal of civil servants, termination of service on the policy of perform or perish is on the basis of 360 degree also. So that's why it has also become more controversial. Controversial is that you are removing civil servants on appraisal system that is not having any legal backup. But a civil servant gets protection under Article 311. Okay. So there is a constitutional protection to a civil servant. But government is removing them on the grounds of performance appraisal by a system which even does not have a legal backup. Right. So that's why on that ground it is being considered that. Means that I did not mention 311. Simply you should understand there is no any law. It is just an executive, let's say that policy government has introduced, and on that policy there is no clarity, there is no transparency. But that is becoming basis to evaluate performance of civil servants and terminate their service. Especially those who have completed. Those who have not completed, they will be promoted as joint secretary and above. or they will not be promoted at joint secretary and above. So it is applied for all, but it is also applied for those who are under performer Paris criteria, means those who have completed 30 years of service. Right. So that has also added in controversy because you are terminating the service of civil servants. Then another thing is that for the first time it is happening that you will find how non-IAS officers are getting promoted. Over 90 officers in the government of India, they are non-IAS serving in secretariats, joint secretary and above level officers. So then it will result into somehow tension in the IAS circle, IAS lobby. Great. They are being denied promotion on the grounds which are not clear, right, and other officers are getting promoted. That has resulted into IAS officers showing less interest going to, let's say, central government, serving to central government on the basis of tenure empanelment system. Right.
It happened in Haryana, in WSDP department, I think, last month, I think.
What happens in Haryana?
So this case happened in Haryana, like WSDP department, I think chief secretary was appointed, like IPS was appointed. There was this controversy.
Right. Now let's say that there is a question, and let's take that question, ask on to appraisal system. Then I will teach that performance management system.
Sir, isn't this 360-degree politically biased?
Yes.
So isn't that should be conducted by an individual, the neutral body?
That's why it is being talked, but we cannot write it. Try to understand that it is part and parcel of any democracy. A party has a political ideology, right, and it comes to power, so it will be influenced by that political ideology. It is not bad. Congress party also has political ideology, but since we have learned and adjusted with Congress party, they have governed over, let's say, 60 years. So when a party has ruled over 60 years, then you have gone through various of its, let's say that ups and downs, and society has accordingly, let's say that adjusted, accommodated, that way you can say that. Hence, when now Congress party comes to power, so you will not feel that type of always, let's say, ideological aspect. Congress party has also tried to make bureaucracy more Congress oriented. That's why doctrine of committed bureaucracy, politicization of bureaucracy happened Indira Gandhi time onwards. So it's not that it has not happened. Now when the present party has come to power with a different political ideology, hence it would like to also see, let's say, largely you will find that civil servants are, although they are either rational, so if you are rational, so you are more close to left ideology. That is how it is considered. Either you are left or you are liberal. Rational type. The rational type, when you have, let's say that you will have. Now let's say that when in Uttar Pradesh government, it has encounter policy. कौन इसको सलाह दे सकता है योगी जी को? Right. Encounter policy होना चाहिए. अब कोई like करने वाला होगा, isn't it? So encounter policy. Anti-Romeo squad. मतलब anti-Romeo itself is, let's say that objectionable term. Romeo Juliet, right? So Romeo and Juliet, you should know that they are revered, let's say that, in case of the Western culture. But यहाँ पे हम anti-Romeo squad, right? Because chief minister is bachelor. Sorry. Exactly. So कौन IPS ऑफिसर सलाह दे सकता है? Right.
सर ये तो नेशनल लेवल पे ना चाहिए, पीएम भी तो बैचलर है.
So PM थोड़ा मैच्योर हो चुके हैं. Right. So he is more accommodative. So basically, right, अब जो IPS officer, right, you win over him ना, you tell him that कि sir नाम तो change कर दो, right. You change the name, he will change the name, right. So when you have, let's say that the government, the central government has some policies, and when they want to bring policies, they want speed, efficiency in that, they want to pass those policies. So you need to have that kind of civil servants who support like-minded this. So this way, let's say that there have been some of the policies which are arbitrary, they have been challenged in the court. So you need the IAS officers who can support the government as per its own ideology. Ideology not necessarily mean there can be no politics without ideology. It has a positive connotation. In our country, we have given ideology as a negative connotation. Right. So politics is based on political ideology, liberal ideology, entire political science. Right. So political ideology. So that is how democracy is based on that. So any government will come to power. So it is this factor, let's say, it is this factor which we cannot write. That's why the problem has happened. That's why IAS officers who may not subscribe to that ideology and they don't feel comfortable, they do not want to come to central government. This, and some resignations have also resulted, let's say some IAS officers have also resigned. This, so that also controversy. But it happens in democracy, it's not something new, it's the part and parcel of democracy. So that is a factor which we can consider informal and we cannot write. Right. Anyhow, so good questions were asked. I guess there are two questions, if you can read it. Right. In 2018, I guess, in 2018 a question was asked. In paper second. Good. '18, 19, whatever you can find.
Effective performance management system needs to proceed taking data board out from bureaucracy. Comment. Isn't the question, sir?
Yes, read it again.
Effective performance management system needs to proceed taking data board out from bureaucracy. Comment.
Yes. Yes, let me write that. Read it again.
Effective performance management system
Yes.
needs to proceed.
Good to proceed.
Yes, it needs to proceed. PICED. Taking dead wood out. Taking dead wood out from bureaucracy.
Can you, will you be able to understand?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Sir, it is typically criticizing the performance bearish one. Matlab not exactly criticizing, but it is saying that before before terminating their services, first there should be in the backdrop there should be perfect performance management system. Matlab all the performance management system that we did, the peer review and all these things. The broad. I understood that.
Any other? So क्या before performer Paris we do not have performance management system?
So we had, but effective stuff. Not that confident.
Let's just simply performance management system is focusing on the effective working and like the hindrances and any type of criticism or controversy which were going on the bureaucracy in terms of their incapacity and impanelment system that we read lastly, sir. So
No, yes. Right. Enough explanation.
So it also talks about performance PMS, that is after evaluating certain training them or giving them suggestions that this should be done.
Sir, if we are taking out any person out from the bureaucracy, then it should be based on a perfect performance management system which should be reliable and objective in nature.
Well, before that, let me tell one thing. That what you should do is that if you have this question papers, it is good. Otherwise, whenever we start a chapter, you can write the questions of that chapter of past years in that book, in notebook. Right. See, reading questions are very important. I have told in past. And you will not realize at this stage its significance. We know it because unless, let's say, child will touch that lamp and hand is burned, let's say that, till that time child does not learn. Right. So never ever you are going to get this opportunity the way we explain in the class itself the questions. Anyhow, the question is that you should write it also in your copy so that you read the question. You need to read UPSC questions most of the times. As much as that it is in your mind. Any such paper, GS paper, optional paper, whatever. Eat, drink, sleep, let's say that is how it is about question papers and the syllabus and topics. Anyhow, it is a good question, a new question, that's why we are taking it up, means understanding. So performance management system they have used, which ARC second says, but they are indicating towards the question context is government perform or Paris aspect, which is it has introduced. Simply it is saying that before you terminate anyone's service, you give that person opportunity to perform and you evaluate the performance objectively, right? Otherwise it is detrimental. Means when deadwood, what is deadwood? This is called this. Performance Paris White was brought to eliminate deadwoods. Those who can be considered according to Nitin Gadkari, gadhe. No, the ghode and gadhe. Isn't it? You know that? His speech on National Highway Authority of India.
Yes, sir.
Right. He said that ghode and gadhe, both are walking together, isn't it? So gadhe are also putting the right blockade for the. So anyhow, so what we are trying to say is that this deadwood concept came when the present government came to power. And we started talking elimination of deadwood or elimination of those who are efficient. This. So even if they have mentioned performance management system, but it is indicating towards this policy. So how they are not given opportunity? That's why we'll, let's say, teach performance management system after telling this. So let's take that the government has come and it has told that 30 years of, let's say, that the service or 50-55 years of age that you have, and then you will be terminated if you are not efficient. Do you think that they have been given opportunity to perform in that 30 years of service?
No, that.
So then 30 years of service, you know that we will teach you thereafter called transfer industry. We have transfer industry. Frequently transferred. Officers are frequently transferred. Here and there you can hear that how transfers happen. Then there is interdepartmental transfer. Today you are in agriculture department, tomorrow you are in finance department, next day you are in Ministry of Personnel, and यहाँ पे आपका appraisal लिखा जा रहा है, तो क्या they will take into consideration your transfer? Will they take your frequent transfer, interdepartmental, interministerial transfers which happen from this place to that place? How they will evaluate your performance? Right. So that is how it has been questioned also, that when there is a frequent transfer, then let's say that and performance appraisal traditionally, now we have introduced performer Paris 2000, let's say that this 15, 16 when government has come to power and then it is implemented for 30 years, already they have completed, but it means they serve in the past government, and when they serve in the past government, so they have served under the era of ACR. So when they have served in the era of ACR, when their performance was not, let's say, efficient, means they were not given opportunity to perform, they have not been evaluated, there is frequent posting and transfers, one thing. The other thing is called doctrine of committed bureaucracy, politicization of bureaucracy. So basically this question is encompassing all these things, that before you eliminate and consider anyone as dead-old, you should have a better performance management system and give them opportunity to perform. Many a time bureaucracy will teach in lateral entry also will tell you that bureaucracy has told that they should be given opportunity to perform, they have not been given opportunity. Like lateral entry वाला जब आएगा तो आप उसको सारा facility दे रहे हो and you are giving lots of autonomy. So those who are coming through lateral entry who have not served the government, they are getting lots of autonomy, and we have been serving to the government but we are not getting autonomy. Why this treatment? Because simply because they are specialists. So there was another, let's say, debate on Rajya Sabha channel on this lateral entry where the ex-bureaucrats all had the consensus that bureaucracy should be given opportunity to serve. It should also be given autonomy, and that is how, let's say, that this question you will be able to answer when we will deal other topics, because it will demand bringing those things also in the answer, and then it can be answered. So that is how, let's say, it is very innovative question, and UPSC has, let's say, that many a time they frame very updated question, very advanced question, this, and that is what we can tell. So let's write now next.
Performance means, performance is a very broad term, no? Autonomy is just a part of it. So what are the other things? Because ensuring that they perform, it's itself a very big topic.
No. Try to understand that we have told you, right? That we are not asking. I was telling, means that we are not telling. Already we have told about performance appraisal, what it should emphasize. So problems of performance appraisal, you know, components of performance appraisal, you know, so you can yourself write that aspect. Right. We were trying to say that why means this before, let's say, means effective performance management system. The performance management system demand that you should also, because when we will take performance management system now, it will take into consideration interdepartmental transfer. Right. That's why performance appraisal should not be once in a year, it should be year round. And performance appraisal should not be there, there should be performance appraisal system. There is a difference between a system and merely appraisal. That we'll talk now, so let's write this. Right. Performance management system. Performance management system. It was recommended by ARC second, asked by UPSC in 2011. It was recommended by ARC second in its report on refurbishing of personal administration. Refurbishing of personal administration. Personal administration. that the performance appraisal should change to management system. It has following characteristics. And is also different from the present performance appraisal practices. So let's write 2 columns. Traditional performance appraisal, this performance management system. It is event type. That yes, it is event type that once in a year performance appraisal is done. It is system type. That open system and management of information and management of performance and information. That is, it would prepare the records of performance appraisal of an individual for the entire career.
Records of performance appraisal
For the entire career and can give also analysis. Of performance. Are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
देखो अभी क्या है कि performance appraisal is done after 5 years, suppose hypothetically. Your performance appraisal was done when you were posted in a particular state, 5 years. Then after 10 years it is done, or even if annually done, or after 10 years again it is done. Whether there is a link between one performance appraisal to another performance appraisal. They do compare it, whether those records are maintained, whether individual wise record is maintained. If you want to get 30 years of your performance appraisal record, can you get access? Whether government has this. Then it is about performance. Let's say, suppose you enter in the service. So enter in the service, your performance may go like this, or a performance may go like this, or performance may go like this. So after, let's say that someone has completed 20 years, so can we give a such pictorial, let's say that analysis, how the person has performed? And if a person has started, its person performance has started declining, so why it has started declining? The person was meritorious, then let's say performance has started declining. Yeah, person, let's say, performing initially low, but then it has performance improved. This. Do you have analysis also, let's say, those who get top ranks, those who get middle level, etc., that according to ranks performance, who has performed how better? So that is how information management system means performance management system. So it will take into consideration, means performance appraisal will not be just an event in a year, rather it is a system where the information is also managed, performance records are kept, then analysis is also done. This is called performance management system. So that has been introduced under Mission Karmyogi. This you should know that. It has been introduced in bracket, you can write under Mission Karmyogi. In performance management side, in first point in bracket you can write introduced under mission karmyogi. Yes, you tell. Yes. Open system.
Yeah.
System is necessarily open. Open means feedback system. Everything we cannot dictate here. Already you know that. Double loop learning system, feedback taking. When your performance appraisal is done, so let's say there can be feedback by others such as stakeholders, outside, inside. This way you can say this.
Could we say the PMS have institutionalized the appraisal system?
Yes, you can say it is a kind of institutionalization. It can be considered. Right. Let's write next. Appraisal is done once in a year. Next point. Appraisal is done once in a year. This side. Year-round appraisal. Year-round appraisal. So year-round appraisal means that now there will be a system. System is institutionalization. The way he's saying means you can have a department, or let's say that year-round. Under mission karmyogi, what is happening? Your performance is automatically getting recorded. Right. Since online mechanism system is there, artificial intelligence introduced, and then the course etc. will explain how it is happening under mission karmyogi. It is year-round rather than once in a year. This we can say that. Next point. Based on past performance. Based on past performance. Past performance. Next, this side. It is based on past and future performance. It is based on past and future performance. Past and future performance. In bracket 720 degree. 720 degree. Means it incorporates features of 720 degree. Next. It does not take into consideration. It does not take into consideration frequent posting transfers. Frequent posting transfers, interdepartmental transfers, interdepartmental transfers. This side, it takes into consideration frequent posting transfers and interdepartmental transfers. Next, it was more mechanical, quantitative, this side. It incorporates characteristics of job enrichment. Incorporates characteristics of job enrichment of three-factor theory. Right. Job enrichment of three-factor theory.
Two factor.
Right. Two-factor theory, isn't it?
Yes.
Three-factor तो है ही नहीं कोई theory. Yes. These are all for testing your memory. Right. Next. It lacks benchmarking standardization. It lacks benchmarking and standardization, including objectivity. This side. It is the most comprehensive performance appraisal system. It the most comprehensive performance appraisal system, which also incorporates role of information communication technology. Information communication technology. Change in paragraph. Therefore, performance management system has potential to further improve the performance appraisal practices in India. Recently, government has introduced Mission Karmyogi, which has incorporated performance management system.
The government has introduced
Mission Karmyogi, which has incorporated performance management system. However, still there is a rider. That for objective performance evaluation, and its greater validative. Other reforms should also be introduced. Because unless civil servants are given opportunity to perform, making performance as basis for continuity or termination of service, or performance based promotion would face challenges and also they will have legitimacy issue. Simply speaking, punishing civil servants for lack of performance and not giving opportunity to perform cannot go hand in hand. That civil servants in India face serious problems of frequent posting transfers, and lack of autonomy to take decisions. At the same time, performance management system reform matches to its time matches to its time, as there is also focus on financial management system and NPM led performance oriented bureaucracy. And by this we finish performance appraisal.
Sir, when 90 IAS officers were terminated, so 311 were protected नहीं थे?
Yes.
Sir, under 311, weren't they protected the 90 officers were terminated? It's a constitutional provision.
No.
Sir, it's a constitutional provision.
Yes, but they are not protected.
Violation of constitution.
No. They are being terminated because of pensions rules. We have pensions rule. According to the pensions rule, there are some sections in the pensions rule. In those pensions rule, it is mentioned that if a civil servant is not efficient, so the state can discontinue the service of that officer. Means if a state finds that the civil servant or a public servant is not able to serve the state efficiently, the state can terminate the service of that officer. Right. The government is invoking that pensions rules, not 311. बहुत ही चालाकी दिखाया उन्होंने. So, and they have gone, basically if you terminate a civil servant on the grounds of inefficiency, so courts have also not, let's say, come forward and protect you, save you. They have also said that you are not performing.
So I have a question.
Yes.
From 2019.
Yes.
There's a question in 2019 which says a more effective system of performance appraisal should acknowledge the subjective elements in it and be less obsessed with objective criteria.
Yes, good point. Good question.
Why make it less subjective and less obsessed with objective?
I guess ki you should be now, by this time you should be guessing what are those subjective things.
Yes, sir.
What are those subjective things?
Sir, as in the detailed review, where the lacking is or what should be done.
In the test one it said the rating good, very clear or average, the rating in the test one.
We also told yesterday, while concluding something.
Passive role, sir. Passive participation role. Consensus.
So subjective would be as कि आपकी यहाँ पर गलती है, should be reformed, मतलब बिल्कुल in detail बताना.
No.
Situational parameters.
Subjective aspect is that ki suppose someone thinks that ki you have potential, can the person prove it?
Okay, yes, आपने कल बताया था वो भी.
Not same for all.
No. If someone thinks that ki do you have potential, right? How to prove it? But he has courage of conviction. Right. If Prime Minister thinks that this particular officer is meritorious and he should serve in PMO, so can he prove?
Not until he works there.
Unless he works. Right. So subjective elements is that it is called that ki merit. Merit itself is subjective. You cannot completely define what is merit. Can we define it? If merit you can define, a person who is getting, let's say, 100% in BSc, isn't it? वो तो अब दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में एंट्रेंस एग्जामिनेशन होने वाला है, isn't it? Anyhow, just try to understand that. Even let's say a person is qualifying in civil service. Now, do you think that a person who is getting first rank and person who is getting second rank, person who is getting 10th rank, person who is getting 51, do you think that now can you say that they will always be performing in that way and this will be here? It may be that he may outperform them.
Presidential medal.
This person can even outperform them. Even further down the dial you can say that, whatever you can say this, right. So this way, like the models that we have told, which have been brought, if TN session can be the topper, so Lingdo may not be the topper, but he is also, let's say, good civil servant. This, or let's say that those good, let's say, initiatives, reforms taken by the civil servants that you know. But that's not the point here. But merit has established that their person is more meritorious. Great. They are less meritorious means if you see the rank, marginal difference will be, but still if you see the rank. Similarly, when performance appraisal is done, so yesterday we told that merit cannot be completely, means when you are giving someone, and let's say you want to have performance evaluation, the performance evaluation document cannot be the sole basis to promote someone. Because maybe yesterday we told that performance, now he is the highest level of his performance. Now thereafter it can stabilize. That fear can also be there. So subjective elements you have to write first about merit, the performance standards, that aspect. And then let's say that no matter how much you make it performance evaluation objective, but it depends on the rater's perspective, the rater's perception, how the raters see you, that good or bad, or let's say the relationship, how better he knows. So who knows your strength better? Your parents.
So the colleagues.
Yes, your potentials are better known if, except you, your potential can be known better by your friends, parents, and your teachers. Right. This, but let's say your friends, your parents, they know your potential better. But those who do not know, they have seen you from, and they just see your, let's say, lifestyle. So do you think that on that basis they can see the merit in you? Right. This is what we have to see. Many a time when you have worked with his superior, suppose you get opportunity to work with Prime Minister, so you can get exposure. तो आपको merit उनको, मतलब suppose you have merit, so he liked it. But सारे officers को तो opportunity मिलेगा नहीं Prime Minister के साथ interact करने का. Even if someone, some other people had merit, but they did not have opportunity to interact, so then the person will not get opportunity. Anyhow, this means basically you have to write that subjective elements means related to the performance appraisal standards itself. They can be many a time very quantitative, mechanical, even if we try to make it objective. Then it depends on the behavioral characteristics of those who write the appraisal. Then merit itself is a subjective element. It cannot be properly defined. Even if merit is defined, but it can be that a person who is meritorious today, tomorrow his merit may stabilize. Then there are human factors also. The human factors, the human elements, that we say human resource accounting. The human elements, let's say that some people can be very intelligent, but their emotional intelligence may be not that much better. Some people can be less intelligent, but their emotional intelligence is very better. How to judge? This can be considered. So this way, let's say, this is why we have to write in this. It should recognize, means performance appraisal should recognize the fact that even if a person has been evaluated, but it still cannot be a true representative of the real evaluation of that person. There can be other factors also involved.